episode of our Secure Dental podcast, where we bring in many different leaders from our industry, both inside and outside. And today we have a very special guest, Mr. Syed. And, this guy is really, really great at what he does with his mConsent. So we're going to dive a little bit more into it. But before we get started, this pod is sponsored by DentVia, dental administration virtual company that actually take care of all the back-end tasks for your front desk, as well as your manager. So definitely look them up. They do anything from call verification, lead generation, calls, and all that good stuff which our front desk hates to do. It's www.dentvia.com. Again, it's www.dentvia.com. Now, without further ado, I'm going to get started with Mr. Syed. He is the actual CEO and founder of SRS Web Solutions. So, Mr. Syed, welcome to the show, and let's pass the mic off to you.
Thank you, Dr. Lou. And interestingly, I just found out you're in Illinois, so that I have some, good memories of living in Chicago, the cold weather and all that stuff since I moved to Dallas. I miss the summers of Illinois. It's pretty nice to be around the lakes and the greenery, and it's beautiful out there.
It's all relative, right? Because it gets so cold and everybody enjoys the summer.
Yeah,
and
you can't
what
have
better
both.
What better way to enjoy the city than, in the summertime?
Absolutely. So a little bit about myself. I have a background in engineering, and I did my MBA from Indiana University, and got into dental world a few years ago, about 8 years ago, when one of my friend, interestingly, in Chicago area, he invited me to his practice. And my background in corporate world has been productivity, efficiency, Six Sigma Master Black Belt. I care about where the money is wasted. So I used to look at different processes, and I said that how can we improve this so we can improve the bottom line of our practices, of our businesses. And he knew what I used to do, and he called me to his practice, and he said, Samad, I want you to come in and see what's happening here and see how can you help me. So long story short, I went into his office, and he showed me a wall. And the wall has all the forms, about 30, 35 forms, where he said that I can't get the patient in without having them sign these forms. And it's a lot. Can you do something about this? And this was back in those days where iPad was new and the technology was booming. And he said that, did you try this? And he said that I'm giving this as a challenge if you can help me out. And, that is one. And I'm proud to say that it took us about a year and a half, and then, we were able to transform his office, where we were able to completely change the experience of how patient intake works. So we designed an iPad app, which basically helps him to collect all his consent forms, medical histories, and all that digitally, and also designed an online intake forms where the patients, before they come into the practice, is able to fill out the form. So that's how it started. And, it's all history. Today, we have about 2,500 practices where we transform their patient, not only just patient intake now, we help them in three different areas in their practice. The number one is the patient intake part, which I just talked about. Number two is the patient communication part, where, the practices can text the patients, ask for the images, ask for the forms, ask for reviews, whatever you want to. You got two-way text messaging with the patients, HIPAA compliant two-way text messaging, and also we have a partnership with a phone company. Then the number three is the practice growth. And I was looking at the ADA survey that they did last year, and they said that only 77% of practices are able to fully utilize their capacity. Actually, the practices are only able to utilize up to 77% of their capacity in general. So if you can see 100 patients, the practices are not able to see more than 77 across the board.
Okay.
So that's where we help with. We don't help with like digital marketing and all that, but what we help with is that we look at unscheduled treatment plans and say that how can we bring back patients into the practice who have treatment plans that are due. We also help with collecting payments, whether it's sending an online invoice, collect text to pay, or we help with payment terminals in the office, on-site payment terminals. And also the number one thing that we help them with the patient reactivation. There are so many patients sitting in the database, and people are, and the practices ignore this number one asset that they have, which is their patient database. And people are not able to, the practices are not able to fully utilize what they have that close to them and bring back patients into the practice who haven't showed up for a long time.
So
this
tell
is
me a little bit.
Of what how we help.
So you started off with your buddy's practice. This was when again?
2014, 15.
So 14 and 15, and now you've kind of grown it to like a 2,500 doctor base, right?
Practices. Yeah.
That's awesome. So how do you guys differ from some of the practice management softwares out there?
So
it seems like most of them are doing that, right? So
yeah. Of course. One thing that we take very seriously is our customer support. That's what we take it seriously, the onboarding experience, the customer support part. But what we look at is the nitty-gritty of things where, like, for example, if you go into forms, everybody says that, oh, we digitize forms, but there is so many levels to digitization of forms. It's not just collecting online forms, but making sure that the medical history integration is there. So we have deep integrations. We have partnership with Henry Schein. We are connected partner with Henry Schein. We are technology partner with Patterson, Eaglesoft. We integrate to a point where I see a lot of lacking in other systems where our integrations go deep. And we also help with open dental. So our integrations are deep, and we help practices higher level when it comes to patient intake forms, but also on insurance verifications. We help with collecting. We have a tool that helps them verify insurance verification. When the form comes in, we verify the insurance verification with the form because we all have all the information already, and we show them whether this person is active, inactive, and then give them all the information that they need.
So for some of the listeners out there, right, that they are looking at their software. So, like us, we use Dentrix Ascend. So we have a cloud-based. How difficult is it for you guys to tap into their API, or is it something which you've already worked it out?
We have a partnership with Dentrix, and on demand, we can build the integration with the APIs that whatever the Henry Schein can support us with. So there are limitations to what they allow you to integrate.
Right.
And whatever they allow, you'll be able to integrate with.
Okay. And as far as practice management software, so this is not practice management software.
No, this is, we call it patient engagement system. That's what it is.
Okay, got it. So what is this mConsent? Is that the consent forms too?
Yes, so it does have online forms. It have mConsent is a total patient engagement platform. It has patient intake forms. It has online scheduling. It has appointment reminder system, to a text messaging system, insurance verification, treatment plan reminders. Suites of a complete suite of what the practice might need when it comes to intake, communication, or practice growth.
So let me take my example. I'm going to ask you a tough question, okay? My example is, so with Dentrix Ascend, these guys, they have text built in, they have patient communications built in, they have, all these reminders, all this stuff built in. Some of them are part of Dentrix Ascend, and some of them are like a la carte, and some of them are extra services. So for someone to kind of say, okay, I want to get onboarded with you, what would be some of the benefits to skip those guys and then jump over with you?
So the number one thing I see is our interface with the patients is super easy. The patients love to work with something super easy. We have forms that are easily built for the patients to fill out, sign, and send it over to you. So that's number one thing. Our appointment reminder system is very, customizable, where you can have messages in Spanish, you can have messages, built out. We have worked on a plan of appointment reminders, looking at different surveys on how many times the patient should be reminded for them to make sure that they don't forget coming to your practice. So there's a little more data and analysis goes back into your system when it comes to how different we are with some practice management systems like Dentrix Ascend, which have all the, bells and whistles into it. But know that we have spent a lot of time into developing these features compared to, we didn't focus on building practice management. We focused on building patient engagement. So that's how, we stand different.
And for some of the concerns listener out there, I'm assuming that it's completely HIPAA compliant.
Oh, of course.
Right.
You can't be in the industry if you're not HIPAA
I just had to
Yes.
throw it out because, there are going to be some people like, is it HIPAA or not HIPAA,
100%. One thing that I did a survey, not I did, but our company did a survey with 250 offices. And we asked them 2 questions. Number one question that we asked is, what are the top 3 challenges that is faced by your practice? And the number one challenge that we saw was that the practices said that the amount of administrative time that we spent. The dentist basically said that, hey, we want to spend less time on administration time and more time on the chair, helping the patients, taking care of the patients. And about 25 to 30% of the time still the dentist spend on administrative time. And the number 2 question, the number 2 answer was the practice growth. As I said, they all want to fill their chairs, and they're still not able to book the appointments at a level that they want to. So they feel like practice growth is important. We want to grow our practice. There's some offices who said that we want to grow from one location to a second location at a third location. And then the last one they said that is the third choice was financial management, meaning that financial management is where you have the practices who are struggling with the insurance reimbursements that that are not the way it used to be, right? So the cost of running the practices keeps going up, and the insurance reimbursements keeps going down. And the gap that's creating, that's where the struggle is that we are seeing. So these are the top 3 challenges that we see. And based on that, we ask questions like, how can we help practices with their administrative time? And that's where, mConsent comes in. And for the practice growth, one thing that I have been telling practices is that, the number one asset that you have in your practice is not your location, it's not your equipment, it's nothing else but your patient database, because your patient 100%. Database is the number one asset. So take care of the patient database. And how do you take care of the patient database? Let me give you an example. Crescent Family Dental in Illinois. We're not very far from you. And they were struggling to, the doctor calls me and he asks me like, hey, Samad, I need your help. Give me an advice on how do I, fill my chairs. I need to fill my chairs. How do I do that? And he was asking, like, should I spend $5,000? What's the marketing budget that I should consider? And what I asked him is that, how many patients you have in your database? And how many patients that you have in your database that hasn't come back for past 18 months? And we pulled in the database and we saw there were 2,500 patients that hasn't come back to his practice. So we worked with them. I helped him out as a friend. And we designed a strategy on email, text messaging, social media, everything included, direct mailing. And we ran this campaign for 6 months. And the results were amazing. He started to see 40 to 60 patients coming in every month back into his practice just by reactivating his database. And the messages were simple as, hey, Dr. Khan, want to see you in your practice. He haven't seen you for a long time. Would you like to schedule a cleanup? There you go. You have people responding, hey, the doctor is asking about me. Okay, yeah, I've been missing this for a long time. So let me see when can we schedule. So it's a super important thing that if through this podcast, if I can let your listeners know one thing, which is that don't ignore your patient database. And I wrote a book on this, and I'm going to shamelessly advertise this. And this book is called The Art of Patient Reengagement. And the book has strategies on how you can build this patient reengagement within your practice. right?
It's called the art of patient re-engagement.
The art of patient re-engagement. So
Okay.
now there'll be people who tell you that I already do recalls though. What is that? Now, how is that different? So the recalls, let me tell you that the recalls are, the email open rates have gone down and it keeps continuing to go down. So just the recalls are not enough anymore. What you have to look at is that you have to have a strategy in place that, because, there's a cost of patient, there's a cost of patient acquisition. People have spent $200 to $600 to bring in patients into your practice. Now that
Right.
patient is sitting in your practice and you're not doing anything with that. That's a sin. You got to communicate with them. You have to have a strategy of continuously having a communication in whatever way, whatever most natural possible way. For example, I tell people, what you need to do is that have your patients join your social media. And when you have a baby shower in your practice, or you have a birthday in your practice, or the doctor is celebrating something, put that on social media so they can see the human part of your dentist. They don't
Right.
have to see the coupons all the time. Just something very simple as, this is what's happening in the practice. We are giving away Colgate toothpaste, and stop by to pick it up if you're available. So
That's a
building
great
that
idea.
natural
Yeah.
connections, is the thing that you have to start looking into. How can the patients that I'm engaged with and the patients who know me, they are the one I need to keep working with them to make sure that the cost of your patient acquisition is lower year over year, because people look to spend $5, $10, $15, $20,000 always looking for new patients. Of course, you got to look for new patients, but know that what you have already in your database is a treasure, and you can't afford to just ignore that treasure. And that's what I would say. And also one more thing, this is a technical thing, but for your front office, you have to make sure that they're properly collecting the email addresses, phone numbers. If you're not doing that digitally yet, you're properly collecting that and keeping your database intact, making sure that whenever you want to use it and whenever you want to start those campaigns, you got the right data in place.
100%. You just nailed something right in the head. It's a lot of times when we are actually just searching for the new patients there, we are just going outside what we don't have. We're always focusing on what we don't have, right?
Absolutely.
And you should be focusing on what you do have. And that is exactly what you just said. That's great. That's great.
One more thing I would say is that I want you to think about this. There are probably every practice have 6, 7 competitors around them, and they are willing to put $400, $300, $400 per patient that is sitting in your database to bring in their database. So don't ignore that.
That's a good way to look at it.
Don't ignore that. So just you got to have a strategy in place. Whatever you do email, you do phone, you make phone calls, you send text messaging, you have a direct mail, you're trying to spend a lot of money on the patients that you don't have in your database, but you're not doing anything with the patients you already have in the database.
Correct.
So that is something that's needed. And we do help practices with, if somebody says that, hey, I need help with that, and they raise their hand and we said that, okay, we'll help you we have an account manager who can help you build the strategy and put things in place for you. So people usually get confused with oh, well, how do I put this Excel sheets together? How do I send emails? We got people in place who can help you out.
Sure. So how does it work with you? So let's say, is it like a la carte service that you provide, different
Yes.
services? Okay.
Yeah. So if you come to our practice, come to mConsent and say, hey, I'm using your forms and I want to see if I can, reactivate my database.
Sure.
What does it take? And our account manager will sit down with you and help you put a strategy in place. And because every practice is different, right? Some people have 1,500 patients that haven't come back in the past 12, 18 months. Some people have 5,000 patients. I have a practice that have 10,000 patients that are working right now to reactivate their practice plan. And he didn't realize that. When I asked him, hey, Dr. Q, and I asked him how many patients you have in your database, what do you mean by that? Okay, let's go look at your open dental, pull that up and see how many actual patients that you have seen in the past few years. And his practice has been a long time. So he had about 10,000 plus patients that on command can bring back into his practice. And he doesn't have to look for any new patients. where if you have 10,000 and if you can get like 5% back, that's 500 patients in a month. If you have a capacity to take care of them.
Absolutely. No, I love it. So this one thing is, how do you guys onboard? What does the onboarding process look like?
For the patient reactivation?
Correct. Reactivation, or if there's any other services that you provide.
So the onboarding process is pretty simple. Our sales team will walk you through, whatever service you're looking for.
Sure.
And then we have an account manager that we assign to everyone who want to be part of mConsent.
Okay.
And that account manager is responsible for making sure that, we're taking care of your practice, whether you need forms, whether you need appointment reminder. It's a la carte services, basically. And we do have great savers plan. We are very cost competitive. We don't charge like $2,000 just for onboarding,
right.
and we don't charge $1,500 just to get the practice to onboard. Our onboarding cost is very low to nothing.
Okay. And do you guys do the reactivation for general population across the board on the database, or is it specific target patients that we can also kind of play with?
Yeah, we actually look at your database. Whoever you have in your database, we reactivate those patients so that they come back to your practice.
So I'll give you a good example for myself. So me and a bunch of my other associate doctors, we do a lot of implant surgery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have many consults that come through the door on a daily basis. And some of these guys, it's been over 6 months, over 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, you name it. Do you guys have something service like that where you can just say, hey, I just want to target Invisalign or maybe just implants?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have something called as unscheduled treatment plan reminders, right? So what we do is that we educate them, or we don't go and tell them, hey, come back, or coupon. We tell them, listen, you were looking to make your smile better. What's a better way than getting it done during the summertime? We actually have a program for people who gets a treatment plan for cavities. They don't come back. We basically educate them, telling them about procrastinating a cavity doesn't help. It doesn't cure itself. You need to make sure that it doesn't go to a root canal, so that now you have a bad teeth and you got to remove your teeth itself or get a new implant, which may cost you $15,000, $20,000. So, procrastination is expensive, so get it done early. So this kind of education messages that we automatically send out. So what we do is that we connect with your system and we read your codes, procedure codes.
I was about to ask you, yeah.
Yeah, and those, based on those procedure codes, we design messages that goes out to the patients based on those codes.
Got it. Okay, no, that's great. Anything else you want to add to how do people reach you?
Yeah, so the best way for people to reach us as a mConsent is www.mconsent.net. And the people who want to reach me for questions, I'm very good responding on LinkedIn usually. So LinkedIn, I'll send you my LinkedIn if you want to add to that.
Yes, we'll have the link below.
Profile
Absolutely.
of the video. Syed is my LinkedIn profile, so people who want to get in touch with me. So yeah, I'm so glad that we connected, Dr. Lou, and it was wonderful talking to you. Thoroughly enjoyed the discussion.
Oh, great. It was such an awesome experience to, learn about what you do. And there is another niche that, that fulfills this market. So yeah, I'm very glad that, we connected as well.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very, very much for joining us. And, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to like and subscribe. And this is going to be the end of our show today. Definitely, go out there, crush it all, my doc colleagues, and be great and have a great, great day.